What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Ubisoft's E3 show, the first one that announced with the date and time, which I honestly give them a round of applause for because it seems like that's the hardest thing in the world to do for these companies. But Ubisoft obviously is going to be going. As far as we know, besides, I believe, Koch Media, they are kicking off the official E3, June 12th. That Saturday, the very first day that E3 starts, is Ubisoft's show, and it will probably be the first one, I assume, of that day. And so for this video, I want to, I predict some things, but more or less talk about what to expect from Ubisoft in terms of, just random thoughts that I have going into it, okay? Make sure if you guys do like that, and I'm going to be covering all of these shows during E3. I've covered E3, or I've kind of predicted E3 the last month or so. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turn on, give this video a like, definitely helps the video out. And if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, be very helpful because I'll be letting you guys know scheduling and when I'm co-streaming, if I'm co-streaming, and videos and all that stuff. Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle. Links in the description, or obviously you can just look it up over on Twitter. Now, Ubisoft, much as I've said, honestly, with the other companies, they have a lot. Well, okay, they don't have too much, but if they kind of bring all of their A game to the show, they can really knock it out of the park. They have several big things or good things there. It's just it kind of depends on what level of a show they want to do. So the first thing I want to say is Far Cry. Far Cry, obviously, we saw just like a week or so ago, and kind of odd to announce it literally right before. I guess not announce it, like show what they showed. And it's not only what they showed, because they showed quite a bit with the gameplay trailer, and they talked about it a little bit, but they also had people in the industry, basically, they got to play an okay amount of the game. And there was a lot of gameplay impressions that were out, last Friday. So what would they do this time? Well, they have the release date. They showed us gameplay. I really like another trailer, maybe. I do think, like, I can't imagine Far Cry isn't there. I really can't, because it kind of has to be. When you look at the upcoming things that Ubisoft has, it's the biggest, and not to say in a mean way, because I think Ubisoft's strategy over the next couple of years is like longer term. It's like we don't have a lot right now, but we have a lot going, in the next year or two. So like Far Cry is that big game. So you got to imagine it's at E3, and it's probably one of the bigger things they would show. But, based off what I just said, to be flat honest, and these could be predictions, you could take them as it, or again, just kind of what to expect from the show. I don't know if the plan will be to show a lot of future stuff, because again, when you think about it, there's a lot of stuff in the future. Even like Prince of Persia has been kind of delayed indefinitely. They could show that. In fact, I think that would be a really good time, by the way, to show something like that. You have Skull and Bones, my good old favorite game. Now, I really want to see that game again. I've made videos about that game specifically, only about that game. With the rumor that it's again been rebooted just a few months ago, are the odds high that they show it at E3? Probably not, but a man can hope, right? And I'm going to hope. So I'd like to see that there. The Star Wars game, that's another one. So the Star Wars game's interesting because how much are you allowed to talk about it and or even show of it before that EA contract is up with Star Wars? I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure they know the answer to it, and so hopefully we'll learn rather quickly. But, to see, again, like we're talking years out for that, like at least 2 years out for that Star Wars game. But if we saw just a little something, just a little tease, maybe like the official name, something like that, I do think we'll probably get that Division, that free-to-play Division game. There was the leak of the gameplay that we saw from that about like a week or two ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. So I'm sure that'll be there. Splinter Cell, I mean, for the love of dear Jesus, I've wanted a Splinter Cell game for years. I believe the last, like every Ubisoft Forward event that they've done in the last like year or so, I've made videos leading into it. Can we please get a Splinter Cell game? For E3s leading into them for years past, I've asked for a Splinter Cell game. Is this the time? I think it's possible only because we got Prince of Persia. So if we got Prince of Persia, why not Splinter Cell? Rayman, I know a lot of you guys have told me that you're a big fan of that franchise and you want that to come back. Really, Ubisoft is a lot like Sony in a way, where they just let old franchises just rot away when they could very easily be brought back in a good way, and Rayman is one of those. So I'd like to see that just as much as you guys. In terms of truly what I'm expecting Far Cry, I'm expecting Rainbow Six, like Quarantine, can we find, and that's not going to be the official name, but can we finally please like talk about it a little bit, because they've just been saying it. And then I mean, they got to announce, I'd imagine, like, it's a good time to bring back Prince of Persia. So I really do think Prince of Persia will be there. After that, it really is a toss-up of what you think they have in store over the next coming year. So, like, the Star Wars game is a lock. The Division free-to-play game is locked. And also, I guess, the fact that they want to do more free-to-play games with other franchises. So maybe they announce some sort of Far Cry free-to-play game. Or, you know, I'm just kind of throwing that out there. But something like that, right? And those are kind of proven things or things that we know that they're working on. But again, besides that, is it too early to show the next Assassin's Creed? Probably, because it's at least another, you know, like year and a half out. So, I mean, maybe you could give the name for it. Watch Dogs obviously just came out. They're still working on stuff. They announced that the zombie mode basically for it a few days ago. So would they show that a little bit? Probably, just to kind of continue to drum up. It's a game that they want to last long term, right? They want to kind of constantly, which is not a bad thing. They want to constantly provide updates for it and like new things for people to do. So I'd imagine you mentioned that as well. Technically, even Assassin's Creed, the last one, that was getting DLC, and it still is. I mean, it has, and it still will. So I think that's another one where they could easily just keep kind of pumping content in. It's going to be interesting, to be flat out honest. So that's, I mean, that was as individual game-by-game basis as I could possibly go. To kind of conclude it and give you guys like a final thing, here's what I'll say. Ubisoft has the potential. Let's do the negative first. Ubisoft has the potential, easily the worst showing at E3, like by a mile. I think Nintendo can kill it. I think Microsoft Bethesda can kill it. Square Enix, if they have the right stuff, will destroy it. Warner Bros. Could destroy all of these. Capcom even. Like, a lot of these can crush it if they choose to. So on the negative side, Ubisoft, if they don't want to crush it and they want to do kind of like a light presentation, I think it could easily be the worst, because they really just in not the numbers, like more the better, because that's not exactly true. You could announce 2 big things, somebody else can announce 10, and your 2 could be better than their 10, so you win, right? I guess in my opinion. So just because you have more doesn't make you better, but Ubisoft flat out seems to have the least, and they also have the most kind of unknown, but not necessarily in a good way. On the flip side of things, again, if they nail it, if they show us just a little bit of Star Wars, if they show us a free-to-play game that kind of stands out besides the Division, if they show up with Skull and Bones, right? These are if they announce either or both new Rayman or new Splinter Cell, that would kill it. So this is very much like a back and forth thing, because I think they can crush it if they do it smart. I think it could also just be flat out the worst one, depending on how they go. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think is going to be at Ubisoft's show? What do you think about my thoughts on it? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Bell icon, again, follow me over on Twitter. Definitely will be a good place to follow me for all these updates. I do plan, as long as I'm approved, I plan on co-streaming the Ubisoft show and co-streaming as many of these shows as I can. There'll be videos directly after all these events. If there's like big things, or if there's nothing, that could be a video all in itself, right? So I do plan on covering, Ubisoft specifically, for this video, but also all the other conferences as well, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.